Hi everyone, here we are at lesson 28. Things are ratcheting up here. It says, above all else, I want to see things differently. This is the variation on the same theme as before, where it says this is really important to me. More than anything, I want to see, and I must see them differently. It says this is making a commitment. This is a commitment. I want to see things differently because it's incredibly important that I do. And it says don't worry about whether you'll keep that commitment or not. The first thing you have to do is make the commitment. And then it asks us, well, why do you think it's important to say, above all else, I want to see this table differently? And it's very clear that it says, well, it's not really in itself important. It's just a table. I put my computer on it. I might eat my dinner on it. It might be in the corner to look nice with books on it or something like that. And then it says, but what does in itself mean? In itself means it's a separate thing. As your world, of course, is filled with separate things. Then it makes this giant statement. If you're seeing merely a collection of separate things, then you're not seeing anything at all. You're seeing your hallucinations. Remember when it says that all the forms in our world are really our attack thoughts projected outward. So when it says, when you have seen one thing differently, you will see all things differently, because the light in one is the same as the light in the other. And we're not talking about light bulb kind of light, the brilliant light of love. So when we're saying above all else, I want to see this differently, it doesn't matter if it's a table, if it's your desk, if it's a tree, if it's the sky, whatever it is, when you say, I want to see this differently, you're saying, I want to withdraw whatever my description, whatever my preconceived idea about this item is, and open my mind. It never occurs to us to be open-minded about the rug on the floor. It's like, I know what that is. It's a rug on the floor. I know what it's for, and so on and so forth. It says, well, what if you don't? We're defining it in past terms. If we say, oh yeah, I know what that's for, you're telling it what it is. And now we want to ask it what it is. We're going to say, okay, my past experience about rugs has been they're on the floor, they make it a little bit easier to walk across, they might be pretty in the middle of the room, but all of those are personal ideas about those objects. Like the table that we mentioned, that's a personal thing to say I can put my computer on it, I can eat my dinner on it, it can look pretty in the corner because it's all carved up and looks nice. But we're now going to look at this from a much broader perspective, and we're going to ask it what it is rather than tell it what it is, because I've told it in terms of my personal, small, persona, attack thought perspective. That's not going to be the one we want to hang on to. So when it says, above all else, I want to see this table differently, you are committed to seeing. And this commitment applies to everything, because if you see one thing differently, you see everything differently. So it doesn't matter if you say, I want to see this picture on the wall differently, or I want to see the ocean differently. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. Anything can show us what the truth is if I look at it with an open mind. And then it makes this beautiful statement. It could tell us something if we would stop deciding we already know what everything is all about. It would give you something beautiful, clean, of infinite value. Infinite, that's a huge word. That means forever, unending, beyond any description, beyond any definition. That's a lot of value. Full of happiness and hope. And underneath our description, our purpose, our assumption about absolutely everything is the purpose that it shares with the universe, which is love and peace and harmony and light and all kinds of things that we don't have words for. So it says it doesn't matter what object or what form you use to practice with, because when you make that commitment for one object, you're making it for all objects. So if you say, I want to see this differently, I'm committing to have its purpose revealed to me instead of my being so everlastingly sure that I already know, I have all the information I need and I don't need to be told anything. So it says in our 6 2-minute practices where you just let your eyes alight on anything, always again, close or far, important, unimportant, animate, inanimate, fragile, substantial, doesn't matter at all. Above all else, I want to see this shoelace differently. This is a form. I want to see it differently. Or I want to see this new grandbaby differently. Now, let me explain to you why this is so important to see it differently. Remember in the earlier lessons, it says, okay, everybody, the forms that you see that make up your world are all an outer expression of your attack thoughts. So basically, the world is just kind of one great big picture of attack. So it says now, if you could look at the forms that you have formed in your mind, but extract the attack out of it, oh my goodness, is that going to be a different ballgame? So when it says, above all else, I want to see differently, it's basically saying, above all else, I want to remove the attack that I have placed there. Sounds like a great idea. Have a wonderful practice. Bye.